Salve Omnes, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Nobushi after the changes the character received in the testing grounds. First, I will quickly summarise Nobushi's changes, and then give my feedback on said changes. If you have not yet completed the survey regarding the testing grounds, then I shall leave a link in the video description, though given that the testing grounds phase has concluded, I am unsure as to whether or not the survey is still available. However, if it is still available, please make sure to complete the survey fully and with your honest opinions, but please also make sure to consider that the goal is to make all characters viable across all game modes. So, for Nobushi's changes, Hidden Stance had its stamina cost cut in half, specifically 12 down from 24. Heavy finishers and heavy attacks used from Hidden Stance have the undodgeable property. Cobra Strike now chains into heavy finishers. Sidewinder now chains into heavy finisher, and all of Sidewinder's cancel options can be cancelled between 400 and 500 milliseconds. Nobushi can now cancel the second part of her zone attack into kick, dodge and heavy finisher, and Nobushi's zone had its stamina cost adjusted, from 40 for the whole thing to 20 for each part separately, with a feint cost of 10. My experience with Nobushi is admittedly lacking compared to other heroes, however I did find her changes to be significant improvements to her kit. While I've had problems myself dodging Nobushi's kick, I still ran into many opponents who dodged it on reaction and never once got hit by it or my undodgeable heavies. The Hidden Stance stamina cost adjustments did feel good though, giving Nobushi a bit more agency in a fight and allowed her to flow much better. I also found that the changes to her zone stamina cost really helped her out when trying to use it defensively as an option select. However, the speed of her zone attack left a lot to be desired, as I found it started up too late to be useful, and when facing Nobushi in duels, I found her zone attack painfully easy to parry at times. For 1v1, Nobushi certainly improved, mainly through stamina cost reductions. Her undodgeable heavies complement kick nicely, but whilst ever kick is at 566 milliseconds, it will remain unusable in high level duels. The developers' intentions were to try and make the characters within the testing grounds viable for tournament level play, so that means talking about 4v4 Dominion. Nobushi used to be the defensive powerhouse and uncontested queen of mid lane mastery way back when, and since her initial changes, she more or less dropped off the tier list by comparison. Her changes were certainly welcome in fours, with her undodgeable heavies being particularly potent in teamfights. Nobushi's range is her greatest ally, and Cobra striking enemies to interrupt their punishes on my teammates was very satisfying given the additional option to chain afterwards. Kick was still highly punishable in most of my games however, solidifying in my mind the need to speed it up to 500 milliseconds. Sidewinder as a move did feel a little less clunky with its adjusted cancel options, and the addition of heavy finisher cancel works nicely for people preemptively dodging. Despite the buffs to Nobushi's zone attack, I found myself barely using it at all, even in 1vx situations, as it was countered with relative ease. I would like to say that the addition of undodgeable heavy finishers made Nobushi better at clearing the mid lane, however sadly this is not the case, though this is unfortunately due to the nature of Nobushi's out of lock attacks. When out of lock, Nobushi's heavy finisher comes from top guard, meaning that she cannot utilise the length and good hitbox of her weapon to clear mid efficiently. Sidewinder can do the job but requires good positioning and no other enemy players nearby to do so effectively. This would naturally leave her zone attack as the next best thing, but even with all the soft feint options, there's very little incentive to let the zone fly, meaning it's always beneficial to cancel it in some way. Overall, I would say that Nobushi is a better character, but her changes are not enough to have her picked over competing heroes like Kensei. There are a few omissions in her buffs that warrant consideration going forwards. First is the kick speed needing to be 500 milliseconds to make her mix-up viable. Griffin has already shown the strength of a kick this speed, so Nobushi should naturally follow suit. Cobra Strike could also potentially use a speed increase, as it's a move frequently countered with relative ease. And Nobushi's out of lock heavies should all be side attacks, giving her better mid clear. I would also like to see the second part of Nobushi's zone become a little more threatening to give her incentive to let it fly. Making it unblockable would be a good move here, allowing her soft feint options to punish would-be dodge or parry attempts. And finally, I think Nobushi's feat recoveries could do with some tweaking, as I know her animation for longbow and second wind are some of the longest amongst the cast that share these feats. Anyway, that's it for my review regarding the changes to Nobushi within the testing grounds. I shall leave you with the rest of the footage. If you found this video helpful or useful, then a like would be greatly appreciated as it really helps me out. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and remember to tick the bell icon to receive notifications of new content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now.
Enemy team is breaking. You lost Zone C.